Okay. So my first question is to Adriano. How was your journey in SRI since 2008?
I was one of the founders of space, of the five founders of Space Renaissance in the 2008. We held a convention in Belgirate on the Lake Maggiore, Lago Maggiore in Italy. And the title was Colonizing the Moon and the Near-Earth Asteroids for a New Renaissance. So we started to discuss about this concept of Renaissance and about the historical Renaissance in the 1500th century, when the Medici family sponsored and supported the development of the Renaissance, of the culture and of the art, coming outside from the Middle Age. Okay, so this is our historical reference was to the Renaissance, the classic Renaissance, and we were considering that something similar would be needed today in order that the many wealthy families that exist in the world could finance, support and sponsor a new renaissance that can only be in space, because almost 8 billion people living nowadays on Earth, on our planet, cannot making with the resources of this only planet. So the only renaissance nowadays can be in space. And our task as an association, as a cultural, philosophical association, was to support and facilitate the expansion of humanity and most of all of our civilization into space, in order we can profit of the enormous resources of the solar system, the enormous resources of the moon, of the asteroids belt, of Mars, and of the external planets, in order to continue our civilization to grow up numerically and culturally and in technology, in ethics, in morality, and all the vectors that are proper to the human history, the evolutionary history of humanity. So this was the foundation of the Space Renaissance. It was founded as a philosophical association. The goal of it was to refound the general philosophy, supporting a complete change of paradigm from the closed world to open world, to an open world concept, open to the outer space, of course. So since then, we held two world congresses, one in 2000, the first one in 2011, and the second one in 2016. During the first Congress, we identified space tourism as the key sector that could by itself open the frontier, because we thought that space tourism was the market segment that could grow on itself, selling tickets to suborbital trips and later to orbital level and to the moon and so on, and selling the tickets for this kind of travels to continuously improve the technologies to make humanity start living and working in space. This analysis made in 2011 was correct, but it was not realized so far. And in 2016, we have to correct a bit our vision, because we understood that space tourism alone could not making in this effort, in this challenge, even because of some, let's say, political considerations, because normally people think that space tourism is something like a toy for rich people and not as a tool for human evolution. First of all. Second, there were a lot of obstacles and lobbies that were opposite to space tourism, because they don't want that commercial initiative get into space. So space tourism had a lot of enemies, let's say like that. And of course, we continue to support space tourism, but we had to also understand that other factors were coming in the progress of the space enterprise, human space enterprise. First of all, in 2016, we saw the first success of the reusable space rockets, the reusable rockets made by SpaceX of Elon Musk. So this was a different thing. It's not quite space tourism, it's something else, because Elon Musk is working with NASA, and thanks to NASA contracts, he can develop these disruptive technologies. And we understood that maybe the opening of the space frontier was not passing only on space tourism, but also on other kind of agendas and rods. But that is good. Of course, reusable rockets is a very, very big milestone in the opening of the frontier. So in 2016, we start to think about the enabling technologies, and we are coming to today, our focus and biggest effort of today, because we understood that we will not have a real change of paradigm from space exploration to space settlement if we will not develop the technologies that enable civilian people, so not only astronauts, but normal people, to travel, work, and live in space. So this is a scientific and technological problem, because we have to improve our technologies to protect against cosmic radiations, because if we want to live more than 6 months in space, we need to be protected. Otherwise, our physiology will be damaged. We have to develop artificial gravity, because the second big problem is zero gravity will damage our physiology as well. And third, but not least, to develop green environments in the space habitats, because we cannot live for years in iron boxes. We have to bring with us in space the environment that we are used to have on Earth. We have to breathe fresh air. We have to see green vegetables and trees and flowers around us. We have to have animals too with us. So we have to start to think in another order in another philosophy, in another vision of our world that must be considered as a greater world. So since 2016 to nowadays, we strive to develop strategy to help us to influence a very, very larger audience in the world, to be able to talk to many, many people in the world, to make them understand that space is necessary. And I think COVID-19 demonstrate, if we needed it, COVID-19 demonstrates this reality that we must go out in order to find space, in order to find resources, in order to find energy, in order to find an environment where we can develop again. We are not constrained inside the limits of our mother planet. So this is more or less the trip from the beginning of Space and Essence to today, and maybe later we will see what we are doing and what we are trying to improve and to enlarge this organization, to make it grow up, and so on. Okay.